Hello and welcome to my first video tutorial of my new sample instrument, the Quadra-Kit. So what this instrument is it's basically a four-man drum ensemble. What we did was we recorded 4 full drum kits in a large auditorium of a church, and basically we went through each of the instruments of the kit and sampled that. So we had the kick, the snare, the hi-hat, rim shots, and so on and so forth. So the UI is still under development, but it gives you a rough idea of the kind of features that you'll find with this Quadra-Kit sample. So you've got your mic positions, so close, mid and side and far. Then each of a whole bunch of different presets, so close and tight, epic military, which just gives some basic ideas of the kind of mic positions that you can use. Then over here, of course, we've got some of the basic effects, so low pass, delay, reverb, and compression. So down here, obviously, the the instruments are mapped across the keyboard. It's sort of similar to the way in which most people do it. So you've got kick on the C, then you've got snare on the D, and so on and so forth up through the keyboard. So I'll just set it to full mix and just play through some of the sounds that you'll hear with this ensemble. So you've got kick, then you've got snare, then low floor tom, high floor tom, then low tom and high tom, snare off, and snare roll. So for each of these ones we've got 3 dynamic levels. So and then so what you'll find is that each of these the kick and the snare have 4 round robins, and each of the toms and the snare off has 2 round robins. So up here you've got some of the rim shots and cymbals. So you've got rim shots. Again, this only has one dynamic level, but it's got 2 round robins. You have floor tom flam, 2 round robins again. So you've got hi-hat closed, and you've got 4 round robins for this one. Then you have crash cymbal and crash cymbal muted. Then moving up here, you've got your ride. This one here, you've got ride and bell, the bell of the ride. Then you have splash cymbals and a low crash cymbal. So they are basically all of the instruments in this Quadra-Kit instrument. If we just come, so we're on full mix at the moment. So we'll just change some of these mic positions. So we'll just go on the kick drum. So pull down some MS, and then pull down the far, and we're just left with some of that. An interesting feature, if we'll just set it back to full mix, that you have here is if you click one of these, it mutes that particular track. So for example, if you come up with a sound you really like and you want to compare it just by taking out one of these mic positions, then that's really easy to do so. So for example, again, if we're in full mix, we want to take out the close, or if you want to take out the far, and then the mid side. Obviously nothing's going to play there, so just the mid side. So an interesting thing to notice with the mid and side, what we did was we hung an MS pair halfway between the floor and the roof of the church, and what that did was it allowed us to capture a lot of the mid to low frequencies that were going around in the space. And what that did was it created a really warm, thick, lush kind of sound to the ensemble. So as you can hear, it's got a lot of kind of mid to low frequencies in it, which is really cool, particularly for some big military kind of epic stuff. So mixed with far, it's got a really big, rich sound. So particularly, for example, with distant drums, the low floor tom really sounds really big in there. So we'll put it back to full mix, unmute the close. And if you're just having a bit of a look at some of these basic effects, so you've got low pass, pretty straightforward. So one of those big kind of Hollywood hits. Delay, again, pretty straightforward. So a reverb, particularly useful if you want to try some of your own reverb sounds. So what you would do is you probably set it to close because this has reverb in it. It's got a little bit of reverb, but better than the other ones. So pull up the wet. And this is just the reverb within Kontakt. If you want to use your own, obviously you just leave that bypass and then put a reverb on the output of this particular instrument in whatever DAW you're using. So that's the reverb, and then compression is pretty straightforward. We did a little bit of compression across them, not too much, and then we also did a bit of EQing on the kick and the drum. Sorry, the kick and the snare, just to give it a bit of presence in the mix. So yeah, that's the Quadra-Kit, all of the aspects that go into making that. So basically, this is essentially the pinnacle of the bigger sample library, which is Quadramatic percussion. And so with that, you'll have the full kit, obviously, and then a bunch of individual instruments. So you've got the Quadra-Kit, which is the full kit. Then you'll also have Quadra snare, Quadra toms, Quadra hits, and so on and so forth. So the other one that I've made is Quadra snare. I'm still getting through the others, but with this one, which is the Quadra snare, what you get in this, I'll just mute that and set it to Omni so it works with my drum pad. So basically what you get here is the exact same layout UII as the Quadra-Kit, except it's purely the snare drum. So I'll just change it. So what we have here is we have left hit on the C and right hit on the D, and you've got two of each of those. So what that allows you to do is if you're playing a particularly quick passage on your keyboard or your drum controller, you can use two hands, which means as opposed to being on the one key, you can do it a lot quicker. So for example, that sort of idea. So you've got hits, rim shots, you've got a roll, and then so the release is triggered. So for each of these, we've got a couple of round robins as well as a bunch of different dynamic levels. And the other thing that you have here is crescendos. So you have three lengths. So you've got long, medium, and short, as well as two variations for each. So you've got 1, 2, 1, medium, and then short, as well as snare off. And then up here, what you have is essentially what you have there, but down lower, so it's even bigger. It's exactly the same. Just pitch shift it down in case you feel the need to have an even bigger ensemble. And the other thing is, if you play two of these at once, it'll sound like you've got 8 drummers playing, because at the moment it's 4, but if you play it with 2 at once, it sounds even bigger. So that's pretty big as far as snares go. So yeah, that's the Quadra snare and the Quadra-Kit. There's still quite a few more instruments to build, but that just gives you an idea of where we're going with this. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just send me a message or comment in the links below. And so yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll be releasing some beta versions towards the beginning of next year for people to have a bit of a mess around with. So as I said, let me know if you have any questions, and thanks a lot for watching. Bye.